Hello guys, and welcome to my Super Bowl prediction video. My Super Bowl prediction. Words many have uttered, and yet nobody knows how the game is gonna go. I'm not gonna lie, nobody knows how the game is gonna go. I remember years ago when the great Peyton Manning was absolutely destroyed by the Legion of Boom. They somehow gave up 7 points. They said after the game, we should have shut him out. It was their time to put the league on notice. Yes, we don't have a aging quarterback with like a legendary defense on either team, but and quite honestly, we don't have a player in this game that levels up to how Von Miller leveled up in that game. No offense to anybody, because Von Miller was a he's still a freak, to be honest with you, even late in his career. But enough about that. Who do I think's gonna win? Here's the simplest way I can put it. And here's how I think the game is gonna go in 2 different scenarios. I think that the Chiefs will get their points. I think that they're guaranteed to get their points. Now, I don't think that the Niners are bad enough, like everyone says about their secondary, to just give up a crap ton of points. Like, the thing about the Chiefs that you think about is that it's not even always about covering. It's about playing their, run after catch ability well. That is what I think. Because they're going to be dumping it to Rashee Rice. Yes, Kelsey's going to get his catches on his routes that aren't always going to be like, 15 to 20 yards downfield. He's just going to out finesse. But then again, Kelsey has to go up against Fred Warner. And to me, the main thing about it is that he is going to, get his catches still. Fred Warner's great, but Kelsey's also a great. And it's going to be a mind game. That's going to come down to it if this happens. And on the contingency of the Niners offense is where lies who I think wins this game. I think if you are looking at the Niners, the reason they lose this game is if they do what they've been doing these last 2 games against the Packers and the Lions, where they start off slow. And they start off slow, the Chiefs get a lead. The Chiefs, who arguably have the better defense than the Packers and the Lions, the Chiefs defense, has been the strength of their team, you guys. Meaning that if you have a slow start as the Niners, regardless of the fact that you think that, we're good enough to come back from any games, which is kind of funny because it's reminiscent of how the Chiefs have been. Not this year, but in previous years, where they had come back from behind on teams that hit a lull and a doldrum. But I also remember the way that Chris Jones plays in these games, because the guy, he wants to get paid. And he more than likely will elsewhere because he is becoming a free agent. And the Chiefs aren't going to afford him. They're not going to be able to afford him. And I doubt he plays under the tag with what happened at the beginning of this year. But I remember last year, he was terrorizing Jalen Hurts, forcing him out of the pocket, not able to get into a rhythm, not being able to make the throws that he wants. So, to me, the game is contingent on the ability of the Niners. If the Niners play to their full potential, I do not think the Chiefs have a shot in hell. Now, I understand the reasonable doubt of most of the people that have been talking about the game saying the Chiefs are going to win. And if I were a betting man, I would bet on the Chiefs. I'll make that clear. Because I think they're the safer team to bet on. Now, do I think it's guaranteed they win? Not a lot. No. There's no way that I think that. So, here are my score predictions. If Brock Purdy, which I think that he knows and everybody knows, and the way that he's talking, the way that he's been talked about, that people are like, this kid is clearly not elite. He's not a bad quarterback, but he is clearly not elite, especially with how much star-studded talent that they have on this team. It was kind of an interesting thing to me that on Honors Night, we got to see the MVP voting, and Mahomes got less votes than Purdy. Purdy, who was probably the reason, in all honesty, when the Niners had a rough stretch this season, the main reason why their number one seed wasn't clinched weeks ahead of the end of the season, to be honest with you, was when he was throwing bad picks, inaccurate footballs, and just ultimately shoving the knife down and finishing off his team in several games. Now, I'm not saying it's going to happen like that in this game, because I think these past 2 weeks have really shown that if Purdy's locked in, they can come back from being behind, and obviously they have the talent and the firepower to do great things. Now, the thing that I'll say too, even though the Chiefs have seemingly been doing better and Mahomes has been completing passes at a very, a Super Bowl MVP caliber clip, I think that maybe the pressure gets to the Chiefs this game. Maybe, in the postseason here, you finally see some limitations. This is finally the game, I think, where maybe Mahomes is going to be under more pressure than he can deal with Bosa and Armstead, as well as obviously the occasional blitz from Greenlaw or Warner. Because I think that Shanahan and this Niners team know that if they can't beat the Chiefs this year, their window is quickly closing with how many guys they're going to have to re-sign, their cap situation. Next year would be an ultimate back of the wall for them. And I think they realize that in the NFC, a lot of the top tier echelon teams, there isn't too much disparity. Like this year, there wasn't a clear number one in the NFC. And if you can't win with the star-studded talent being as healthy as they've been, then goodness, it is hard to keep on going to these games and winning year in, year out. Trust me, I know. I saw it with my Packers. My Packers, who were contenders for years, not able to even reach the Super Bowl. Obviously, we were also eliminated by a Niners team that wasn't even as good as this one. And even though they got this one now, it's not even a sure thing that they're going to win. The most star-studded talent team in the league. If you look at them from a star standpoint, they have, arguably the most guys who should be all pro, and also the most guys that, should be voted to the Pro Bowl because of their contributions. But here are my predictions. I'm going to give you guys 2 predictions of this game. If the Niners aren't sleeping offensively in the first half, they are going to score 31. And the Chiefs will score 28. Now, if the Niners are off their game in the first half, I am going to say Chiefs 28 to the 49ers 24. Because it's like I said, and I didn't say it without reason, I think the Chiefs are going to be able to do what they want. And barring anything crazy where somehow Mahomes gets a deep bomb to like MVS or something crazy, because, you know, the Chiefs aren't known for their deep ball. Really? I mean, they've thrown... I think that Mahomes this year really hasn't thrown it deep that much because of, you know, maybe the distrust of his wide receivers, but also just because of like the situations where they are a lot more of a yards after catch team this year. And that there are times when they go 15 to 20, but the amount of like 20 plus bombs, you know, or I'll say it, 30 plus bombs that Mahomes has had this year is very lacking, because their only deep threat is MVS, and he hasn't had a year. Like, I don't think there's really been a guy on the Chiefs besides Kelce who has had a good year, and even Kelce's had drops this year. But he's obviously not a deep threat, as he's the tight end. He'll catch one, you know, 15 20 yards downfield, but he's not a deep threat. And I can guarantee you the Niners will probably make Kelce's life the most difficult. But if you guys are watching this, that is my Super Bowl prediction, both scenarios, because I really think the Chiefs will get their points. It might vary a little bit from like 28, but I think that 28 is kind of the number. I think that they're going to be able to score at least, you know, average a touchdown a quarter, to be honest with you. It might be a little bit more, but I don't expect really, unless something disastrous happens to either side, for one team to run away with it. Like, these teams have two incredible head coaches. And I think that, you know, Mahomes may have something to like prove, because Purdy got more votes than him in MVP voting for, you know, and you know that Mahomes uses that kind of stuff to motivate himself, even though it's not even based on Purdy at all. Because it's, you know, all these other people, you know, I guess not believing in Mahomes or whatever else, even though he's played fine this year. It's like, without Mahomes, I think that this team, they could have missed the playoffs. The Chiefs could have, I feel like, this year. They didn't have Mahomes, who, you know, he did lose his cool at some points this year, where it's like, oh my God, I've never seen Mahomes this mad. But understandably so, with the ridiculous drops and the way his receiving core has performed this year, which seemingly they've remedied it in the playoffs. But I'm still saying it. I don't fully trust a team to just get rid of the insane number of problems that they have. But that's my prediction. If you guys disagree with me, that's cool. And if you want to, you know, you can like, comment, subscribe. Doesn't have to be that order. And I'll thank you guys for watching. I'm probably going to resume Cast next week, by the way. And it's probably only going to be a once a week thing, to be honest with you, because it's off season and there's not going to be much going on. Thank you.